The American War, often referred to as the American Revolutionary War, was a pivotal conflict that shaped the course of history. It began in the year 1775 and lasted until 1783, marking the 13 American colonies' struggle for independence from British rule. The roots of the war can be traced back to growing tensions between the colonies and the British government. Colonists were increasingly frustrated with taxation without representation, restrictive trade practices, and the imposition of British authority over their local governments. Events such as the Boston Tea Party and the Intolerable Acts heightened these tensions, leading to a desire for self-governance and freedom from oppressive rule. The road to war was paved with significant events that fueled colonial discontent. The Stamp Act of 1765 imposed a direct tax on the colonies, requiring them to purchase special stamped paper for legal documents, newspapers, and other publications. This act was met with fierce opposition, leading to the formation of groups like the Sons of Liberty, who organized protests and boycotts against British goods. The Boston Massacre in March 1770, where British soldiers killed 5 colonists during a confrontation, further ignited anger and resentment. The Boston Tea Party in December 1773 saw colonists, disguised as Native Americans, dumping an entire shipment of tea into Boston Harbor as a protest against the Tea Act, which monopolized tea sales to the colonies. These events collectively galvanized the colonies into action, ultimately leading to the formation of the Continental Congress. In response to the increasing tensions, the First Continental Congress convened in September 1774, bringing together representatives from 12 of the 13 colonies. They sought to address grievances with the British government and to coordinate a unified response. The situation escalated into armed conflict in April 1775, when British troops marched to Concord, Massachusetts, to seize colonial arms. This led to the first battles of the war, known as the Battles of Lexington and Concord, where the phrase, "the shot heard round the world," became synonymous with the start of the Revolution. As fighting spread, the Second Continental Congress convened in May 1775, ultimately appointing George Washington as the commander of the Continental Army. A significant turning point in the war came with the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. Drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson, this document articulated the colonies' desire for freedom and outlined the philosophical justifications for their break from Britain. It emphasized the principles of individual rights and government by consent of the governed. The declaration rallied support for the cause, both domestically and internationally, as it signaled a commitment to the ideals of liberty and self-determination. The war was no longer just a rebellion. It had transformed into a fight for fundamental human rights. Throughout the war, several key battles defined the struggle for independence. The Battle of Saratoga in October 1777 was a turning point, as it resulted in a significant American victory and convinced France to formally ally with the colonies. This alliance provided crucial military support, resources, and funding. The Siege of Yorktown in 1781 marked the last major conflict of the war, where British General Cornwallis surrendered to Washington's forces, effectively sealing the fate of British hopes for retaining control over the colonies. The war officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris on September 3, 1783. This treaty recognized the sovereignty of the United States and established its borders. The aftermath of the war brought significant changes, not only for the newly formed nation, but also for the world. The ideals of democracy and self-governance inspired other revolutionary movements globally. However, the United States faced numerous challenges in the post-war period, including economic instability, territorial disputes, and the question of how to govern a diverse and expanding nation. The legacy of the American War continues to influence democratic movements and discussions about freedom and rights to this day, reminding us of the enduring quest for liberty.